Actually, there's one more thing. Just think if they can do, and it's a scary thing to think about. And I know a lot of the detractors will be like, "Oh, well, I'm not breaking any laws." Well, you don't know that yet. So today we're going to talk about the Trump ruling in New York, where they're saying that he committed some kind of fraud by borrowing money from the bank. So let me explain the whole situation. So this is how real estate development works, right? You borrow money from the bank, they give you an interest rate, you take the money the bank gives you, you build whatever business that you're trying to establish, you take that business and then you the money from the money that you use to build the business, you pay back the loan that you got in a monthly amount with interest. Once you pay off the bank, you stop paying that interest. End of story, right? So New York was essentially saying that he took resources from he defrauded somebody by the value. It's all really obscure. They don't really make a very good case, which is why everybody's so shocked that they can charge $300 million or $330 million or whatever it costs. Because once you pay the money back, nobody gets hurt. Everybody gets their business. It's not like he defaulted on the loan and the bank never got their money back. The bank actually made money by because they get their original amount back plus the interest for all of for after he starts the business, right? So everybody wins. Trump gets his business and the bank gets their money plus interest. So it's really baffling that they can say that he could pay $330 million. What? Let's find out what Trump's current net worth is. So it says he's approximately worth $2.6 billion. A lot of you guys probably don't know this, but Trump is a major stakeholder in Truth Social. So I don't know if that's actually part of his net worth or not. I think he's a majority owner in Truth Social. Truth Social is about to go public this week, and I think they're going to be trading at somewhere around like ten to $20 a share, and he's a majority. I'm not sure how many shares he holds, but word on the street is if he sold all or if he liquidated all of the shares, it'd be equivalent to about $4 billion. So it's not. I guess it wouldn't be factored into this, but to have him pay $300 million for the hotel or for the loan that he took doesn't necessarily make sense. So let's go look into the case. Oh, okay. It's $450 million. The ruling in Donald J. Trump's civil fraud case could cost him all his available cash. The judge said that the former president's complete lack of contrition bordered on pathological. Right. Yes. Sure. The civil trial tested Donald J. Trump's claims of wealth and judge found him fraudulent. The former president is expected to appeal. A New York judge on Friday handed Donald J. Trump a crushing defeat in the civil fraud case, finding the former president liable for conspiring to manipulate his net worth and ordering him to pay a penalty of nearly $355 million plus interest that could wipe out his entire stockpile of cash. The decision by Justice Arthur E. Egeron caps a chaotic year-long case in which New York's Attorney General put Mr. Trump's fantastical claims of wealth on trial. With no jury, the power was in Justice Egeron's hands alone, and he came down hard. The judge delivered a sweeping array of punishments that threatens the former president's business empire as he simultaneously contends with four criminal prosecutions and seeks to regain the White House. So this is what I don't understand. They are saying that he's trying to manipulate his net worth. How is he trying to manipulate his net worth? I I saw maybe a month or two ago that they said his Mar-a-Lago land in Florida it was worth 18 million, and I find that hard to believe. All okay, yeah, there's a property right. These properties right here alone, they're not even. I think they're just condos, and they're worth $40 million. So everything in this area, these houses are worth three, from what I've seen, anywhere from 3 to 8 to even if you go out on the water. Yeah, so his property is located on this island right here, just off the coast. These like tiny, these significantly smaller neighboring buildings are worth above $50 million. So you can't argue. The judge said that his property was worth $18 million. That literally doesn't even make any sense. The way that you judge value of a property is I own a house, and the way that you judge the value of the house when you go to sell it, or if you're trying to get it appraised, or basically how you pay property taxes, is by the value of the houses around it. They essentially bring the value of the house up. So they're trying to say that he inflated the value of these houses uh, to increase his net worth, which is nonsense. The houses around it proves that it's probably worth what he's estimating. So they're saying here, he said Mar-a-Lago was among the 9 clubs in the county that were appraised on their net operating income. We look at their memberships, the number of members, their annual membership dues, and the expenses that it costs to run the facility, and then we trade a capitalization rate, which includes the tax rate for that jurisdiction, Jackson explained. We don't look at any property differently than we do any properties here in Palm Beach County. They're all assessed equitably and fairly, regardless of whose name is on the property, he added. Jackson declined to comment on the reaction of Trump and his family. Everyone has an opinion, blah, 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 blah. So if he's saying, it seems like they're saying that it, because he was saying on January 1st they reassess it. It said yeah, down here, and our values are set on January 1st of each calendar year. So they're reassessing it by the year. So from what it seems like he's saying, could be wrong, that it's it generates 18 to 27 million dollars a year. So if you're selling a business, right, you're not going to sell it for what it's currently worth. I think you do the valuation by 5 year, the 5 or 10 year, what it makes per year, and then you multiply that by a percentage. So you add the cumulative value of how much money it generates per year, plus like a percentage of increase or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So if that's accurate, then that debunks the $18 million. And then further down in this article, it says elsewhere he shared listings for other houses on the market in Palm Beach with prices ranging between 38.9 million and 59.9 million, despite being seemingly far smaller than the Mar-a-Lago case. Yeah, that makes no sense. If there are properties that are parallel to me that are significantly smaller, but they're worth more than my enormous property, that makes literally no sense. How can you appraise it at $18 million? The only way it makes sense is if he's saying it makes 18 to 27 million dollars a year, and then that is fact. That's what he's saying. He's not saying it's appraised at $18 million. But there's been rumors that this guy's a Democrat agent or something. It could be true, but I don't know. But saying that we're not going to attack anybody's character, but saying that this is what it's worth when all of the properties around it says otherwise seems like nonsense. So I was going to say I'm not sure what they're trying to say, but I know what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to decrease the value of his house. So if he eventually pays this $350 million, then they can seize more of his assets, because then they can claim that, hey, your properties aren't worth as much as you say it is, which is nonsense, because I don't even know how much Trump Tower is worth. I could look it up, but it's been open for forever, so I'd imagine it does a lot of business. So what they essentially can do is they can arbitrarily decrease the value of the property, claim the property, and go back and say, hey, the property is, we still need more, because the property that we took is not really worth what it's appraised at, even though that's nonsense, because they can just take their appraiser right behind a legitimate appraiser and then go and say, hey, this is not worth, we need some more of your assets. So they're gonna essentially try to clean him out while he's campaigning, which is attacking your political enemies. What do I know? That was the only thing that I want to talk about. Actually, there's one more thing. Just think if they can do, and it's a scary thing to think about. And I know a lot of the detractors will be like, "Oh, well, I'm not breaking any laws." Well, you don't know that yet. If the laws are changed in the future, then you can open yourself to litigation based on just being a businessman. Let's say you want to start a business and then you think that the cost to open a business is worth a certain value, and then somebody can come behind you and arbitrarily say that the loan that you took for whatever amount of money was fraudulent, or the value of your business is fraudulent, because it's all based on what somebody else is willing to pay for it, right? Not to mention the properties that are around it when it comes to his Mar-a-Lago beachfront property. If they can go behind him, if they can go around him and go to him and say that it's not really worth that, even though the market says it is, what's to stop him from doing that to you? I know most of America is built up by small businesses. Uh, it's not really about defending Trump. It's what it really means for average people like us. Uh, I have a house, and like I said, and I will be looking to probably buy another house whenever I move again. And if they can arbitrarily change the prices of things, then what's the what's the stopping the rest of the people from seeing this precedent and be like, oh, they can do this to me. Anybody can do this to me. And I guess that's why a lot of the businesses are leaving New York. But we'll see how this turns out. I'd imagine he's probably not going to pay it. He's going to fight it all the way until the end. Or if he really just wants to get it behind him, he'll just like sell some of his Truth Social shares, and then he'll just put it behind him. But I'm sure there's going to be something else that they're going to come up with. But that's all for today. Hey, watch your back out there, you guys. Don't be buying no houses. Don't be starting no businesses.